Hey, good morning, folks. We're going to try to clean this up a little bit and take you the rest of the way. This is Bruce and Rick. You know us better from the All-Star panel on Friday. Brian had some obligations in the community this morning, so he asked us to come in and give us the best NPR rendition we could do. We need to slow it down a little bit after that.
I don't know if we need to slow it down. What is that Green Deal crap? Recycled urine? It's just not working for me.
Woo, there's a good way to start. Anyway, Bruce and Rick are going to pick up here where Brian left off and see if we can cover a little bit of ground today. We'll try to finish up on this Green New Deal, give you our perspective on that, which is, I don't know, it's probably...
Not the same perspective, maybe not as emotional.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it won't be as emotional. My wife says, give it more passion. After seeing Brian in here, I don't know. Anyway.
How are we going to do trains to Europe? It's just...
By the way, we did book our next trip.
Oh, really?
It's 10 years out, but yeah, we are going to take the bullet train from New York to Portugal.
Portugal, all right. Well, it's 2 years before the end of the world, so yeah, get it in before it's too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, Brian touched on some Green Deal stuff this morning, the Green New Deal. They've rolled out a new plan to kind of take the sharp edges off the first plan that came out, and of course the liberal media is covering. And that first plan didn't even exist.
Yeah, it was too much, too big a bite.
Go ahead.
So they, one of the things they dropped out in the second release, or version 2, whatever you want to call it, is like this thing on urine. I mean, they had something in there about, men should put, urine in a drug, I guess women too, and let it sit for 6 hours, and then you can, somehow magically drink that and survive. So that didn't make it.
Wasn't there something about Soylent Green at one time?
Oh, boy, yeah. It's all around this green stuff. And then there was nuclear power. I think that got dropped in version 2. What people came out and said, you want to eliminate nuclear power, you talk about a dirty mess. Yeah, well, I'm
trying to get rid of that.
Yeah. I mean, that's the big knock on nuclear. I mean, the radioactive waste and things like that.
Yeah.
But as a energy source that's relatively green, if you don't have all the waste issues, it's way up there. And they basically threw that under the bus. So,
what sets me nuts is all of these new candidates that are coming out on the Democratic side. They're all buying into this thing. And you don't know whether that's just because everybody else is doing it, whether no one's got an original thought, whether they can't stand up for what they truly believe. And in their heart of hearts, folks, you know darn well that they know that this is not tenable. This is so off the chain, but the cover and the pundits out there like Jessica Boris Karloff,
non-binding resolution.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
It's
non-binding resolution.
It's just a conversation starter. Well, then why are we wasting the time on it?
Exactly. Why are we even talking about it? But hey, here we are. I mean, it's amazing the amount of press this is getting. I mean, it's incredible. But again, I think it goes back somewhat to AOC. And all these candidates, they're I think afraid to lose out. They're afraid that if they don't, get behind this thing that they're going to lose votes.
They will lose the oxygen in the room.
Yeah.
They won't be considered.
Or a segment of the voters.
Yeah, exactly. So McConnell's going to bring it to vote.
Yep.
The Senate is going to bring it to vote. Get everybody to put their name on it. He who wants it, she who wants it, and they who don't.
Yeah. It's going to force the Democrats to,
put up or shut up.
Yeah, put up or shut up.
And then they're just going to, they're going to. I predict, for whatever that's worth.
He predicts.
Yeah, that they're going to bring it to vote, and it's going to be a party line vote for the most part.
I would think, but the way they do things with votes, that like they can, be for it, but not really go on the record for
That's
it.
That's my point.
They will find some way to wiggle out of this and make themselves.
In order to placate Schumer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Chucky, Chuck Schumer, we're going to say, yeah, we're going to vote for it, but we're going to go back to our constituents and say, we're really not for that.
Yeah.
It's just a talking point. It's just a conversation starter.
Yeah,
Doesn't
or
that
they'll
drive you
somehow
crazy?
split it, and they'll vote for one part of it, but they won't vote for the other part, and they say, hey, see, you know, we...
Yeah, we couldn't split the baby, so the only way that we could say that we're for this piece and this piece is by voting for the whole piece.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And these are your representatives at work, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's just amazing that they do these, you know, sham votes.
And they're still tripping over 1.37 billion.
Yeah, for the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Anyway,
but
so
going back to the genesis of the new Green Deal.
Yeah.
Again, Miss Ocasio-Cortez, she did reference that you know, some of her inspiration for this was from FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Oh, and they're
for those of you who haven't ever studied American
Yeah.
political history, president back in the 30s and into the 40s, you know, he had the New Deal.
And the New Deal basically was put together to recover from the Great Depression.
Yes, correct.
33 to 36, this New Deal went into play. Depression was in 29, and you know the country's recovering. So this New Deal, and it was. You go ahead.
It was very much socialistic. I mean, you know, one of the things that FDR believed in is that the government should control the major entities in the American lifestyle that had to do with power, had to do with water, sewage, things like that. So
infrastructure,
yeah, if you will, the highway systems,
social programs.
Yeah, social.
It was the beginning of the welfare state, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because I think Social Security only came in 1933. Hello.
Yeah, 16th Amendment, right? 16th Amendment, Social Security, welfare state. This whole thing, this FDR New Deal was built around. Let me back up. He told the American people this was the new economy, where it did nothing but go back to the original combination of Mussolini's fascism, Hitler's socialism in Russia and Germany, communism, and what FDR did. FDR was a big follower of Mussolini. He loved Mussolini. He loved the fascist ideas and the redistribution of wealth.
Yeah, and as well as the control aspect. You know,
yeah.
Mussolini, the trains will run on time, and by God darn it, they did.
Yeah, exactly. And then you know you look at the Social Security Administration, and who's got a bust up there that they all genuflect to every day? Some guy from Mussolini's regime that came up with you know the redistribution of wealth.
Yeah, I don't know his name, but
I can't think of his name either. But I guarantee if you look it up, it's there.
So this was the genesis, or you know, one of the inspirational bases for the new Green Deal, which is sort of recycling many of the things of of FDR's New Deal. And it's astounding. I mean, that this is getting so much play. Other than you can understand people when they hear things are going to be given to them for nothing. You know, people say, yeah, sure, count me in. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I don't have to work and I get paid? What the hell?
I'm willing to work.
Yeah,
we're going to pay you.
Yeah, well, that was taken out. You know, that rollout thing with the sharp edges, that little thing about people getting paid that were unwilling to work, that got taken out. Nuclear got taken out. Even the reference to obsolete, make air travel obsolete.
Oh yeah, the airplanes. Yeah, we can't give up the airplanes.
Was kind of fudged on that a little bit too. But
yeah.
We're still taking your cars, folks. We're still taking your energy. We're still taking fossil fuels. They're going away. No more fossil fuels.
Yeah, just renewables. Well, I mean, renewables now, I think the last numbers I saw were something like 1.3% of the energy mix. It may be 3%, somewhere in the very single-digit numbers. But, you know, if solar power and wind power are so good, why are they so damn expensive? You know, you just can't get the
Why
same amount.
Why are they taking the wind power down in the liberal Northeast? Because they don't work and they don't like them.
Well, they're macerating birds too. I mean, they have like astounding bird kill with those things.
If we had,
so you got the bird lovers against the green energy people.
Yeah.
Go figure it out.
If we had the storage capabilities in batteries,
and we don't.
You're right.
And it's a long way down the road.
If we had a grid system that could distribute solar and wind power, if we had it, it would take an area the size bigger than California.
Oh, yeah.
Just to be able to have solar farms and wind farms, to be able to even come close to supporting it. And if it did come about, the experts say that the distribution capability, we'd have such peaks and valleys and spikes that we wouldn't know whether we were coming or going. We'd be shutting off our computers constantly because they'd be crashing. We'd have brownouts constantly all over the place.
Yeah, and if you take the area of California with all the peaks and mountains and everything there, which of course you can't put solar panels on, and spread that out, I mean, it is a huge, huge area. And then you get a couple cloudy days. What do you got to do? Come on.
I don't want to be in that airplane on a cloudy day, right? When you get the solar panels on the wings.
Yeah,
and
really.
all of a sudden we say, we're going in. We make light of it, but it's just, we're from a generation that just doesn't think that way. And we sound like our old parents right now. I know we do. I know you're out there going, geez, I suppose you walked 5 miles to school uphill both ways too. But I'm telling you,
in the winter.
Yeah, it just, I'm hopeful that when people just really think about this and look at these proposals individually, and if you think outside the box, let's just take air travel. How are we going to defend our country? How are we going to...
What do you mean? Everybody else isn't going to join us on this bandwagon?
Yeah, exactly. Russia's going to go, hey, the dummies are getting rid of the airplanes, Stosh.
Go to DEFCON 4.
That's right. It just, I don't know. It just...
Yeah, but still you see the politicians jumping on. Cory Booker now says, well, we have to stop eating meat. There's just not enough resources to, grow the farting cows. I mean, come on. It's
can you believe he came out with
we
that?
shouldn't spend any time on this because it's really just it's really just a play for headlines, in my opinion, because everybody now is saying, we're just floating an idea. It's starting the conversation. It's a non-binding resolution. Get off it. Come on.
Cory Booker comes out yesterday, vegan. He said, the only way that we're going to sustain the planet is if everybody stops eating meat. Really?
Where's the beef?
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the beef?
Yeah, exactly. What are we going to do? Do you think the Irish people, and they're going to give up all of their sheep?
I think he's throwing a bone.
The Australians?
No.
Giving up their sheep? The New Zealanders?
No. I think he's throwing a bone to the film industry because they're going to do a remake of Mad Max. And instead of cars and trucks, they're going to have animals, underground and caves and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, well, Tom Cotton came out and really blasted Cortez yesterday, didn't he?
What did he say?
Well, he just absolutely blasted her for the...
Same sort of things we were saying.
Too many people in the media have been complicit in the Stalin-like 84 technique of making her original white paper FAQs disappear. Nothing going on here, folks. Nothing. There was nothing there. Just pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah,
we're coming back to you with the new plan that's a little bit rounded on the... Yeah, never mind. Anyway, he was on the Hugh Hewitt show, and he was, he jumped to endorse the radical package and what was inside it, but it's just remarkable.
I mean, but this is where we are. We're a brand new Congresswoman coming in and getting out of her situation in New York, whatever she was doing there with her apartment, all that. So she's now getting $174,000 a year, trying to figure out how to like settle in Washington D.C. And she
I
throws
can't make it on 174 a year.
No.
I can't get a decent place to
Yeah,
live.
yeah, that resonates with lots of people, I'm sure.
Yeah, especially.
And you know, she throws this thing together again with the assistance of Markey, Ed Markey from Massachusetts. You know, longtime liberal congressperson, senator, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, this is like everybody's talking about this for weeks now. I mean, and we have issues like the wall, we got China trade, we got the Middle East, we got so many other issues of importance, and we're just spending so much time on this thing.
And then, you know, I swear that the Democrat Party has gone off the rails. Democratic Party has gone off the rails. It just seems like the entire focus is shifted to these 3 female freshman representatives, Talib, Cortez, and Omar, and what their daily off-the-wall narrative is.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, it comes out yesterday that Talib was writing for Farrakhan in the mid 2000s, 2006, 2007, something like that.
yeah, Louis Farrakhan, you know, real great leader right there.
So I mean, you got all of that attributable to her, Minnesota representative. You've got Omar, another Minnesota no, excuse me, Talib is Michigan.
Yeah.
You got
Michigan.
Omar.
Omar's Minnesota.
Yeah, you got Omar from Minnesota, from a Somali community, and she's been blasted and criticized and called on the carpet by Pelosi for her anti-Semitism. Folks.
And Trump. I mean, Trump said she should resign for those sort of statements.
I guarantee you that resignation, or that obligatory, I'm sorry, the mea culpa that she gave, that was about as sincere as, I don't know what the analogy would be.
Well, she got it right from Nancy Pelosi's office and just, you know, put her name on it and
put a stamp on it, and then put the caveat at the end.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, but we still need to get rid of AIPAC because they're the support mechanism that brings money from the Jewish donors to support the Republicans.
It's
really?
the American Israeli Political Action Committee.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They put together all these different PACs to support, and you know, right, wrong, or indifferent on the what's the word I want, on the
what word are you looking for?
The lobbyists. Sorry, I couldn't come up with lobbyists. Right, wrong, and different on the lobbyist thing. If you go back and you look at some of her comments that have come out recently, some of the tweets that she put out, there is no question in my mind that this will not be the last of any of those anti-Semite comments. Do you think?
No, I think she, you know, they don't seem to mind putting their foot in their mouth all the time. I mean, they just say, hey, you know, it's me stirring the pot.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of that's what I'm here for. I'm going to stir the pot. And
yeah, exactly.
It's certainly getting reaction. And, of course, the media is complicit in this. Let's get that straight, folks. The media is complicit in moving a lot of these issues down the line, keeping it in the news when we should be moving on, as I said before.
It's
to
cover.
more important things.
They're running cover for them.
Yeah.
You know, they could do whatever they want, and it'll be okay because we'll put it out there in such a way that you know, you won't look like the bad guy.
And like Cotton said, Senator Cotton, I mean, Stalin-like, or 1984, the book 1984.
Yep.
The government controls everything, controls the press. Hello. They're going to tell you exactly what they want you to hear, and it's going to be their story. So all this other stuff that you know, people now under our current system have an outlet or freedom to say, that's going to be gone, folks. It's going to be the government controlling the output, and you are going to be getting exactly what they want to hear and nothing more.
Yep. Anyway, the fake news lives on, huh?
Indeed.
Fake news lives on. It's 9:05. We've been running our traps here for about 25 minutes or so. We're gonna have a little fun in the last half hour. We got some pictures, some clips. We're gonna do a little kind of a potpourri thing, but from 9:05 to say 9:30 or so, Why don't we talk a little bit about John Dowd, the president's former
Attorney?
attorney, and his critique of the Mueller probe, and then maybe we ought to give a little shout out to George Soros and share with the folks, if they don't know, what he's been whining about over in Europe. I know that when we come on, we always like to touch on Europe a little bit and just do a little European update. He's been moaning the blues about worrying about whether his New World Order and whether EU is going to go away. So why don't we touch on that when we come back? We're going to take care of our valued supporters out there that make this show possible. We're delighted to be here with you. Brian had to leave and go out into the community and do a little outreach this morning. I think he had a 9 o'clock appointment. We were delighted, Bruce and I are delighted to be here to finish up the show. We're glad Josh is at the helm to keep us on the straight and narrow. So Josh, why don't you take us to break, and we'll see you on the other side.